As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the quiet street, a solitary figure made its way towards the looming silhouette of the boarding house. Sarah Baxter, a young journalist with an insatiable curiosity, had stumbled upon the address in an old newspaper clipping, drawn to its promise of affordable lodging in the heart of the city. The air hung heavy with the scent of damp earth and decay, sending a shiver down Sarah's spine as she approached the weathered facade of the building. Its windows were dark, devoid of any signs of life, save for the faint flicker of a candle in one of the uppermost panes. With a hesitant breath, Sarah pushed open the creaking door and stepped into the dimly lit foyer. The floorboards groaned beneath her weight, echoing through the empty space like a ghostly refrain. Shadows danced along the walls, twisting and contorting in the dim light, as if alive with some unseen energy. "Hello?" Sarah called out, her voice swallowed by the oppressive silence. There was no response, save for the distant echo of her own words. Undeterred, Sarah made her way to the front desk, where an ancient ledger lay open, its pages yellowed with age. With trembling fingers, she signed her name, the ink bleeding into the parchment like dark blood. A chill ran down Sarah's spine as she was handed the key to her room, the metal cold and heavy in her palm. She thanked the elderly caretaker, whose eyes held a glimmer of something unspoken, before ascending the staircase to the upper floors. Each step seemed to echo through the empty corridors, a steady rhythm that quickened the beating of Sarah's heart. She couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of unseen eyes following her every move. Finally, she reached her room, a small and musty chamber at the end of a long hallway. With a sense of unease settling in the pit of her stomach, Sarah turned the key in the lock and stepped inside, closing the door behind her with a soft click. Alone in the darkness, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that she had just crossed a threshold from which there was no return. Little did she know, the boarding house held secrets far darker than she could have ever imagined. And with each passing moment, its sinister rhythm began to quicken, drawing her deeper into its twisted embrace. The hours stretched on like an eternity as Sarah unpacked her meager belongings, the shadows in the room seeming to lengthen with each passing moment. Despite the chill in the air, a bead of sweat trickled down her spine, her nerves on edge from the oppressive atmosphere of the boarding house. Determined to shake off her unease, Sarah ventured out into the hallway, the floorboards groaning beneath her weight. She paused, listening intently for any sign of life, but the only sound was the distant hum of the city outside. With a sense of foreboding gnawing at her insides, Sarah began to explore the boarding house, each step taking her deeper into its labyrinthine corridors. The walls seemed to close in around her, the air growing thick with the scent of mildew and decay. As she passed by the other rooms, Sarah couldn't help but notice the peculiar behavior of the other residents. Their eyes seemed to follow her every move, their whispers echoing through the empty halls like a haunting refrain. Determined to uncover the truth behind the boarding house's sinister facade, Sarah sought out the landlord, a mysterious figure who seemed to lurk in the shadows, their presence felt but never seen. With a pounding heart, Sarah knocked on the door to the landlord's office, the sound reverberating through the empty hallway, like a drumbeat. There was no answer, save for the echo of her own heartbeat pounding in her ears. Undeterred, Sarah pressed on, her determination outweighing her fear. She vowed to uncover the secrets of the boarding house, no matter the cost. Little did she know, the darkness that lurked within its walls was far more sinister than she could have ever imagined, and with each passing moment, its rhythmic pulse grew stronger, drawing her deeper into its twisted embrace. Sarah's days in the boarding house blurred together, each one filled with a sense of unease and uncertainty. But amidst the oppressive atmosphere, she began to uncover subtle clues that hinted at the true nature of the place. Late one night, as she sat alone in her room, the floorboards creaked beneath her feet, drawing her attention to a loose panel in the wall. With trembling hands, she pried it open, revealing a hidden compartment containing a stack of old letters. The letters were faded and yellowed with age, their contents cryptic and disturbing. They spoke of strange rituals and dark ceremonies held within the walls of the boarding house, hinting at a sinister past that had long been forgotten. Determined to uncover the truth, Sarah began to delve deeper into the history of the boarding house, scouring old newspaper clippings and dusty archives for any information she could find. But the more she unearthed, the more questions arose, each one leading her further down a rabbit hole of madness and despair. Meanwhile, her interactions with the other residents grew increasingly tense, their whispers growing louder and more insistent with each passing day. It seemed as though they were hiding something dark and terrible that lurked just beneath the surface. But try as she might, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, that unseen eyes were following her every move. And as the days turned into weeks, the rhythm of the boarding house seemed to grow stronger, its pulse quickening with each passing moment. Little did Sarah know, she was on the brink of uncovering the boarding house's darkest secret, a truth so horrifying that it would shake her to her very core. And as she delved deeper into the shadows, she realized that some secrets were better left buried in the darkness. The weight of the secrets she had uncovered pressed down on Sarah like a suffocating blanket as she confronted the enigmatic landlord in their dimly lit office. The air hung heavy with tension as she demanded answers, her voice trembling with a mixture of fear and determination. The landlord's eyes bore into her, dark and unreadable, as they listened to her accusations. For a long moment, there was silence, broken only by the steady rhythm of Sarah's pounding heart. Finally, the landlord spoke, their voice low and menacing. They confirmed Sarah's worst fears, revealing the true nature of the boarding house and its dark history. But as the truth unfolded before her, Sarah realized that the horrors within the boarding house ran far deeper than she had ever imagined. The residents were not merely hiding a dark secret. They were a part of it, bound to the sinister forces that lurked within its walls. With a sinking feeling in the pit of her stomach, Sarah realized that she was in grave danger. But try as she might, there was no escaping the clutches of the boarding house and its malevolent forces. As the confrontation reached its climax, Sarah knew that she had to act fast if she had any hope of escaping with her life. But the landlord's grip on the boarding house was ironclad, their power absolute. With a sense of dread washing over her, Sarah realized that her only hope lay in uncovering the boarding house's darkest secret, a secret so horrifying that it could destroy them all. And as she prepared to face the darkness head-on, Sarah knew that the final battle for survival had only just begun. For in the heart of the boarding house, where the rhythm of evil pulsed like a heartbeat, there could be no escape from the horrors that lurked within. Determined to unravel the deepest mysteries of the boarding house, Sarah embarked on a perilous journey into its hidden depths. Armed with the knowledge she had gleaned and a flickering candle to light her way, she ventured into the darkest corners of the building, where shadows seemed to gather like hungry beasts. As she descended into the bowels of the boarding house, Sarah stumbled upon a hidden chamber concealed behind a false wall. The air grew thick with a sense of foreboding as she cautiously stepped inside, her heart pounding in her chest. What she found within sent shivers down her spine. The walls were adorned with strange symbols and arcane sigils, their meaning lost to time. In the center of the room stood an altar, its surface stained with dried blood. With a sinking feeling in the pit of her stomach, Sarah realized the true nature of the boarding house's sinister secret. It was a place of dark rituals and unspeakable horrors, a gateway to realms beyond human comprehension. But as she turned to leave, a sudden movement caught her eye. In the shadows, a figure lurked, their eyes gleaming with malevolent intent. It was the landlord, their true form revealed at last. With a sense of horror washing over her, Sarah realized that she was not alone in the darkness. The residents of the boarding house, once her neighbors, now stood before her as servants of a darker power. In that moment, Sarah knew that she was in grave danger. But try as she might to flee, the boarding house held her in its grasp, its tendrils tightening around her like a vice. As the truth of the boarding house's sinister secret unfolded before her, Sarah knew that her only hope lay in confronting the darkness head-on. With a trembling hand, she reached for the flickering candle, its light a beacon of hope in the encroaching darkness. And as she prepared to face the horrors that lurked within, Sarah knew that the final battle for survival had begun. For in the heart of the boarding house, where the rhythm of evil pulsed like a heartbeat, there could be no escape from the terrors that awaited her. With her heart pounding in her chest and adrenaline coursing through her veins, Sarah knew that she had to act quickly if she wanted to escape the clutches of the boarding house and its malevolent forces. Gripping the flickering candle tightly in her hand, she turned to face the looming figure of the landlord, their eyes gleaming with malice. As the sinister presence advanced towards her, Sarah's mind raced with thoughts of survival. With a swift movement, she hurled the candle at the figure, the flames erupting into a fiery blaze upon impact. The room was engulfed in chaos as shadows danced wildly across the walls, casting eerie shapes in their wake. Seizing the opportunity, Sarah darted past the startled figure and raced towards the exit, her heart pounding in her ears. The air was thick with smoke, choking her lungs and stinging her eyes as she stumbled through the darkness. With every step she took, the boarding house seemed to fight against her, its walls shifting and twisting in an attempt to trap her within its grasp. But Sarah refused to be deterred, her determination burning bright in the face of overwhelming odds. As she burst through the door and into the cool night air, Sarah felt a surge of relief wash over her, but her victory was short-lived, for she knew that the darkness still lurked within the shadows, waiting to claim its next victim. With a sense of urgency, Sarah fled into the night, the echoes of her footsteps fading into the distance. But even as she disappeared into the darkness, she knew that the horrors of the boarding house would haunt her forever, a reminder of the sinister secret that lay hidden within its walls. Sarah's escape from the boarding house left her physically free, but mentally scarred by the horrors she had witnessed. As she wandered the streets in the cold embrace of the night, her mind raced with thoughts of what she had left behind. With each passing moment, the memory of the boarding house seemed to fade like a distant nightmare, yet its sinister presence lingered in the depths of her subconscious. Try as she might to move on, Sarah found herself haunted by visions of shadowy figures and whispered secrets. Determined to leave the past behind, Sarah sought solace in the company of friends and loved ones, but the specter of the boarding house loomed over her like a dark cloud. No matter how hard she tried to forget, its memory continued to haunt her, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the veil of reality. In the days that followed, Sarah struggled to come to terms with what had happened, seeking closure in the unraveling of the boarding house's sinister secrets. Yet try as she might, there were some mysteries that remained unsolved, their answers lost to the darkness forever. But amidst the chaos and uncertainty, Sarah found a glimmer of hope in the knowledge that she had escaped the clutches of the boarding house and its malevolent forces. Though the scars of her ordeal would never fully heal, she knew that she had emerged stronger than before, a survivor of the darkest of nights. And as she looked towards the future with newfound determination, Sarah vowed to never forget the horrors she had faced, nor the strength she had found within herself to overcome them. For in the rhythm of life, there were boundless possibilities waiting to be discovered, even in the darkest of places.